We're back for the new season. This is huge. We're back. This is incredible scenes. And Josh Leafy's back. Dan Lynch is back. Leif, there's been a sending off. I think Anthony Van den Boer's been sent off.
Has he?
Yeah. Has he? Good on you.
Good.
Good. We're back. We're better than ever. It's the new season of the Premier League is upon us. I've bought a £30 Champions League ball.
Good.
£30. I've been mugged off. They saw me coming a mile off. But yeah, we're back. Chris, how are you? How was your summer? And what have you been up to?
Yeah, I've been very well. Summer's been pretty good. You know, I've actually made a transfer myself in terms of local football.
Please tell us.
I've gone back home, so I've left Spartan and I've returned to the mighty Tower, and we're winning everything this season. That's all you need to know. Ban the villages.
It's taken a minute and a half, and we're banning the villages already. And Josh is back. Hey, Josh.
Hey,
how's it going? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. My summer's been good. If you wanted to know,
tell me about
I've been in the gym all summer grinding.
Have you?
Yeah, non-stop, mate. Non-stop.
Are you there now? It's a green screen.
Yeah, just finished. Yeah,
that's huge.
Summer's been good.
Yeah, I'm glad. And United this season. I'm sure we'll get into it. But are you excited?
No, not at all. I think, we'll get into it. I can't see it being any better.
I do have one question. Is Erik ten Hag, is he going to be a suit manager or a tracksuit manager? What's your thoughts here?
It's got to be. I think he's a suit. I think he's been a suit manager in pre-season, so I think he's going to stick with that. But then was he at Ajax? It's an interesting question.
It's an interesting question.
I'm going to go suit.
You know, suit. I know
the
prediction. He's a suit manager.
Yeah.
Chris and do you disagree, or do you think it'd be a tracksuit, like a Tony Pulis?
I feel like he might be like a V-neck jumper.
Oh, that's a great shout.
What, a corset jumper, maybe?
Yeah,
he's Dutch, though, isn't he? The Europeans do like a bit of a different managerial clothing choice, don't they? Well, that's mainly Germans, isn't it? I see a lot of interesting.
A yuck him low, yeah.
Picking his bum off.
And Dan, the big final. Who do you think? Ups and downs throughout the whole sort of process. But is it Ekin-Su and Davide for you tonight?
It's got to be in it.
Yeah, fantastic. Love Island.
What's that? Oh, Love Island.
What's that? That's why I've got to finish at 9. Love Island final for everyone watching. Dan, how have you been? You've been away for? You're back though. How are you?
Very well, mate. I'm just the floor above you, so can't complain, can I?
The big transfer news is Dan's moved into my house. So, is that bigger than Chris's moving home? Dan's moved home as well, technically, for me anyway. So
moved to London.
Yeah.
We're in London.
That's it. Ash Barnes, you're here again. You're in a polo.
Don't sound too excited. Ash Barnes, you're here again. We tried to get rid of you last year. You're back.
He's back. How are you? How's things? Are you still reeling after the F1 yesterday?
Oh yeah, reeling. I mean, I didn't watch it. I was at the Commonwealth Games watching a huge badminton game between South Africa and India, which India absolutely smashed them. Really good at badminton. Really? But yeah, all good. Thanks, mate. Great to be back.
It's great to be back. It's great to be back. The Commonwealth Games is a bit of a weird concept, isn't it? It's like, we colonized you ages ago. Let's play.
I know.
Let's play badminton.
A lot of political issues with
a game of badminton after years of colonization.
Yeah,
I don't know. But I think let's kick off because obviously Leif and Dan are back. I'm typing out the banner as we speak, but this is a quiz for Dan and Josh being back. Let me type that up. Add that, and here it is.
Seamless.
So yeah, this is it. This with Dan and Josh being back. This is live on the fly. This is 6 questions. So get a pen and paper.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And okay, so let me just get this up. So this quiz is split into 2. 2 questions are 3. There's a Dan section, there's a Josh section, basically. The Dan section comes up first. Dan, according to my sources, which is Chris on WhatsApp, this is your 13th appearance on the pod. A great number, by the way. But according to worldfootball.net, a prestigious website, in terms of Arsenal appearances, who out of Mathieu Debuchet or Jermaine Pennant made 13 appearances for Arsenal? This is a question. Who played 13 times for Arsenal? Debuchet. Two top players. Write it down.
Debuchet or Debuchy?
Debuchet, I don't know.
Debuchet.
Debuchet. Pennant. And play along at home as well. Who had 13 appearances in honour of Dan's 13th appearance on the pod? Who played 13 times for Arsenal? Second. So this is goals now. We moved from goals to appearance. We moved from appearances to goals. Who scored 13 goals for Arsenal? Jack Wilshere or Matthew Flamini? Who scored 13 exact goals according to worldfootball.net? Huge. Got to count for injuries. Got to count for injuries there. And then finally, this is the number 13. So one of these players wore the number 13 for Arsenal, and one of them didn't. You have to choose between Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain or Alexander Hleb.
Easy that.
Yeah, I knew that one.
Yeah.
I had the answer written.
Come on.
Very good. Very good, boys. So that's the Dan 13 section of the pod. Now let's move to Josh's section. These are another 3 questions. So, Josh, this is your 8th appearance on the pod.
Lacking. A lot of injuries.
But according to mufcinfo.com, who has 8 appearances for Manchester United? Bebe or Rodrigo Possebon?
Ooh.
2 stellar names.
2 superb players, by the way.
Yeah.
We've
got a bit of a thing for Possebon, isn't it?
We do, and when his name came up as part of this sort of, I could have got him involved.
Yeah.
I dived straight for it.
Yes, he's a go-to player.
Dive for a badminton shuttlecock yesterday.
I think I know that.
How do you know that?
No, I don't think Possebon played that many times, man.
What, 8?
No, I don't think he played that many times. I think that's Bebe. I've seen him play in the Champions League.
Okay.
I reckon 8.
What a player. So the second is goals. So who has scored 8 goals for Manchester United? Harry Maguire or Rio Ferdinand?
Oh, these are tough.
These are really tough. 2 great English defenders for Manchester United.
One great English defender.
Similar ability.
One great.
And leadership.
Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah. Good.
Okay. I assume Ash is here, but
Ash, you okay?
He's fine.
Yeah.
Last question. Number 8s for Manchester United.
Oh.
Who wore the number 8 for Manchester United? Mike Phelan or Steve Coppell?
Yeah, that's easy.
I didn't even know Steve Coppell played for Manchester United.
Yeah. Absolutely. He's very exciting. He gets excited very quickly, old Coppell, doesn't he?
All the Coppell
Yeah,
Ash, did you need to repeat any questions?
No.
You got it.
We're all good.
Okay. Anyone need a repeat, or you're all okay? We'll quickly do some answers, and if you play count up. Okay, so the first question was who played 13 times for Arsenal? What do you boys just shout it out? What do you
Debuchy.
Debuchy is correct.
Yes.
Jermaine Pennant had 12.
Oh, just off.
Bad.
Yeah, there you go. Well done.
He was drunk.
Goals.
As well.
Yeah, well, you know. Who scored 13 times for Arsenal? Wilshere or Flamini?
Wilshere.
I went Flamini.
Wilshere.
It's Flamini.
Flamini.
Wilshere had 14.
Good.
Wilshere had 14. Scored that one more goal. Maybe that goal against Norwich.
Yeah, that was a beautiful goal.
Beautiful goal, by the way. And number 13, was it Hleb or
It's got to be. It's
Hleb.
Hleb.
It was
Alexander
Hleb.
Hleb.
I had a Hleb Arsenal shirt when I was younger.
Hleb.
Good. Hleb. The battle of the Alex is there. Oxlade-Chamberlain has been 15, 7, and 8, apparently. Which add together to 7 and 8 add together 15. So that's probably where I don't know why. I don't know, he loves that. He loves multiples of 15.
Good.
So can't be scores there, and then we'll do the Leif section, the Josh section. So who played 8 times for Manchester United? Bebe or Possible?
Bebe.
Bebe.
I went Possible.
Yeah, Possible.
It is Possible.
No!
Oh.
Yeah, I remember Bebe playing a lot for some reason, even though he was completely
But I don't remember Possible playing at all.
Possible played
0
8.
appearances.
Bebe played 7.
He played less.
Okay, he played less.
That surprised me. Possible must have been an absolute savage in a League Cup or something in the early rounds.
Absolutely loves it. The penultimate question: who scored 8 goals? Ferdinand Maguire.
Rio.
I went Maguire.
Maguire has 7.
Yes.
Ferdinand has 8.
Maguire.
Maguire.
And the last one: who is number 8 for Manchester United? Koppel or Phelan?
Koppel.
I went Koppel.
Dan and Ash.
Koppel.
I think Phelan was a defender, wasn't he? Koppel was a midfielder. So
a quartet of Koppels there. Phelan was a lot of numbers I've written down, but just not number 8.
Utility
count
man.
up your scores. Count up your scores. Count your scores at home. Chris, how many did you get out of 6 there?
I got 4.
That's a good start. I mean, I have no idea if that's a good start. Josh,
4 out of 6.
Oh, good. It was a good start, maybe.
Yeah.
Dan.
5.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
And here we go. Ash Barnes.
3.
Oh,
very cool.
Dan Lynch is the winner of the Back to Season, Back to Pods quiz.
Well done, Dan. Welcome back, Dan.
Really good. Welcome back, Josh, as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. What a lovely quiz. Thanks
for the quiz.
No worries. I just thought it'd be nice.
Thanks for the introductory quiz back into the pod.
Dip the toes back. Yeah. The Premier League's back this weekend. I was talking to Dan about this earlier. It's Arsenal again starting the season off. I remember when it was Brentford, wasn't it, last season? They got Crystal Palace away on Friday night.
His favourite team.
Yeah, there you go. Palace are awful, aren't they? They're terrible. That's taken us 12 minutes. Good. I mean, should we just dive into top 4 predictions and then just see where it goes from there?
Yep.
Let's just do that. The top 4 predictions. So let's start with Ash. Let's go backwards. I've caught you unawares, Ash. So last year, you said Chelsea to finish first, Liverpool to finish second, Man City to finish third, and Manchester United to finish 4th. What's going to change this year? What's your thinking?
Well, where to start? Let's start with the top. Let's start with first place.
Good. Start at the beginning.
Yep, start at the beginning. This team I predicted second last time, but I'm going to move them up 1 place this time, and that's Liverpool.
Wow.
I feel like despite this is maybe more because of what's happened to Man City over the transfer. I feel like they've lost some potentially key squad players, which means they've a bit weaker as a squad. I know Liverpool lost Mane as well, but I think Núñez will be decent, and I think because they signed Luis Diaz halfway through last season, he's already been proven that he's a great goal scorer. And under Klopp, I just can't see Liverpool not being in that top 2, and I think they're stronger this year than potentially Manchester City. Obviously, it'll be interesting to see how Haaland gets on. He could be a big difference maker for Manchester City. But I'm going to go Liverpool number 1, and this season I'm going to go Manchester City number 2. I feel like there's nothing to say about Manchester City, really. There has been a lot of changeover since last season. I think they'll regret maybe moving out players like Jesus, Zinchenko, Sterling, because they're all really good squad players. I'm surprised they've got rid of so many of those kind of players. So I think overall their squad's looking slightly weaker than last year. So that's why I've put them in second. Our third place, I think quite a lot of us are going to have this team, Tottenham. Conte is going to be a big influence. I think it's either boom or bust for them. I can see him potentially having a strop and leaving after a few months if they start poorly. But given his experience and given the transfer window they have, and with Kane and Son up front, 2 world-class players, I can genuinely see them being really good this season and really improving upon what they did at the end of last season. And I think as well that they will get quite close to that top 2. I'm not saying they'll be that close to potentially winning it, but I think the gap from, say, first to third this season will reduce, because last year, obviously, there was quite a big gap between those teams. Fourth place, I don't know. I've got 2 in there at the minute. I've got Manchester United and I've got Arsenal. Manchester United just cannot be as shit as they were last season. It just can't be. And
will you wait, mate? You wait.
I think Eric Ten Hag is a positive managerial addition. I think they'll be much more attractive to watch and play better football. They've also made some decent signings as well. I think they're a bit light up front. I don't know really what the Ronaldo situation is going to be, but personally, I don't think he's the answer to Manchester United's problems anyway. So I think they need a couple more reinforcements in the forward line. So I'm going to go with Arsenal, given that I've said that, because I think they've made some decent signings during the window. I think Jesus is going to be a really big signing for them and bag loads of goals this year. Also, they're looking a lot more solid. I've seen William Saliba in a couple of clips, and apparently he's done very well in pre-season. I'm sure Lynchy and Chris will be able to go into it a bit more, but yeah, I'm going to go with Arsenal, even though they are serial bottlers. I think Chelsea are the main one missing out there. There will be a slight surprise, but I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit reactionist based on their pre-season, but I don't know. They've lost Lukaku. I thought
pre-season is the indicator of all success.
Ronaldo. But they have had a poor transfer, and they seem to be in transition. They sort of got players there like Aspilicueta and Marcus Alonso that they're struggling to shift. They got a lot of deadwood that they can't get out of the club, and they're not they seem struggling to sign players. Barca seem to be nabbing in a lot of their transfers and stuff like that. And they've got a new chairman, a lot of change around the sort of backroom staff and sort of that end off the pitch. So I'm not sure that may lead to success on the pitch, but we'll see. So that's my top 4.
So let's unpack that a little bit. So that's Liverpool, City, Spurs, Arsenal. Spurs and Arsenal being 2 teams that none of us picked last year to be in the top 4, and you brought in 2 out from
new
the cold
ones
there. Boys, let's just completely unpack and go at Ash's top 4. What do you boys think about that?
I think it's difficult. I think there's still a month left of the transfer window, so I think a lot can change. Like Chelsea's still got a month to make their transfer window a good transfer window. It's a long time, but I tend to agree. I mean, last year I was a bit more dedicated to my own team than with my predictions. I think I'm going to be a bit more realistic, so I tend to agree with Ash on most of them. You have Arsenal 4th, didn't you?
Yeah, but I think it'll be close. I don't think they'll be.
I think Liverpool City will be 1 and 2, whatever way around they are, regardless. I'll go into mine later, but I think that from 3rd downwards, 3rd to 6th, 7th could be a complete lottery for a lot of them teams. I think it's difficult to predict that 3rd and 4th spot.
Interesting. Okay, Dan, what do you think about Arsenal being in there and also being behind Spurs?
Yeah, I tend to agree with being behind Spurs. I feel like they've got. I mean, Conte's just such an experienced manager. Has been there, done it with Chelsea, but also done it in other leagues as well, hasn't he? With Inter. And I feel like Arteta, this is his season to prove. He's now got the squad he wants. He's basically got rid of every single player who was there when he joined Arsenal. This is I think the expectation is top 4 this season. Whether that will come true, I'm a bit unsure. Like you said, I think it's really hard to call 3rd down to 6th. You get Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United. I feel like luck of the draw when it comes to those 4 teams. Spurs the most likely though, like Ash said, because the signings they've made, but also the manager they've got in and how they finished last season. I don't know. I'll be interested to hear what Chris says about Arsenal, but I would say they're probably just going to miss out. I feel like Chelsea's squad is just a bit more experienced. I know they haven't made many signings this season, but they've still got a really solid squad. And let's not forget, this was primarily the squad that we thought they would win the league with last season, bar Lukaku.
And they brought in Koulibaly, haven't they? And also
yeah.
So
I guess the loss of Rudiger is quite big.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, they've got a ready-made replacement. I mean, Koulibaly, he's been chased after for a lot of big teams quite a few years, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And obviously, I heard today that Cucurella might be going there rather than Man City.
Let's end the pod. Let's end the pod now. Yeah, that'll be an interesting signing if they go for Cucurella.
They're demanding 50 million, aren't they? I mean,
he signed on a 5-year contract last summer. He's their player.
4 years left.
4 years left. Player of the season. Brighton can ask.
Well,
for
they got
50
50 million for Ben White, so 50 million is pretty cheap for Cucurella.
Exactly. So 30 million, Man City. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Really, Pep.
Hey, all right, come here. Chris, Dan's asking about Arsenal there. What are your thoughts on Ash's prediction here?
I'm going to be bold and say, I agree with Ash. I think Arsenal will finish fourth this season because it's been one of the best pre-seasons Arsenal have had in a long time. I mean, someone put a comparison up on Twitter. I can't remember who it was, but you look at our squad from 2020 and obviously Gary Neville made those comments sort of like 2021, our Arsenal's recruitment, what on earth are they doing? Bye. And you look at our squad now, it's a more young, refreshed squad that we've got. I mean, maybe there might be a little bit less experience in there, but it also baffles me that people are saying, are Arsenal signing City squad players? Let's not forget, Zinchenko and Jesus played their part in City winning multiple league titles as well as other trophies. They're not just players that come off the bench for 5 minutes, go, here you go, we'll give you a bit of a run up. They actually played their part. Jesus scored important goals, and Zinchenko, at one point, he was Manchester City's left back last season when obviously
he's also the second most successful Premier League player in terms of win percentage, which means everything.
Is he? I did not know that.
I don't know who's first.
I was going to say who's first.
It's probably possible, I imagine.
Of course.
But there we go. Okay, interesting. So let us know your comments on Ash's top four. But let's move to Dan. Dan, what do you think your top four will be this season?
So I still think Man City, I think they'll retain the title. I think Liverpool second, Spurs third, and I still tend to go very close, probably last couple of weeks of the season, Arsenal just to miss out to Chelsea fourth.
Okay. So that's Chelsea in there. What do we think about... No one said United yet. And I think there might be a reason. But
wait, mate.
Ash, what do you think? It's very similar to yours, but it's just the Chelsea. Dan's weighed up Chelsea and Arsenal. He's gone for the blue half.
Well, he's put City top as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I think that's maybe slightly more contentious. I know, obviously, Manchester City, winning the league, they've been sensational these last few seasons. So, it doesn't seem like a big shout to say Manchester City will win the league. But I just wondered, do you think they've actually got better? There's a few unknown quantities in the Premier League. They've got Alvarez, who's expected to play a big role, and Haaland. I know Haaland's obviously got a big reputation and a huge sort of, aura surrounding him, and everyone thinks he's going to do well. But are these
Scandinavian Kevin Davis,
the kind of unknown quantities? And
but then, in that sense, what's different to Liverpool signings then?
Yeah, exactly. Is Nunez going to hit? That's the thing. Football fans, they really are fickle sometimes, aren't they? I mean, all right, Haaland missed a big chance at the weekend, but now everyone's calling up saying, he's already a flop and that. It's
what if you said who's before they signed for Liverpool and City, who's a better player, Erling Haaland or Darwin Nunez? I think 100% of people would say Haaland.
Everyone go Haaland.
I think 50% of people say I've never heard of Darwin Nunez. I mean, I'm sure he looked pretty impressive yesterday in the Charity Shield, Nunez, when he came on, but he's just as much of an unknown quantity as Erling Haaland is.
I agree, but then what I would say is that Manchester City have lost those squad players who Chris just outlined, really made a big difference to their title push in recent years. Liverpool have lost one player in Mane, but they sort of already replaced him with Luis Diaz during the season.
That is true.
So that's for three key players lost. Liverpool have arguably lost one. So
I would agree on that. The Luis Diaz signing is just an unbelievable signing because he is watching him yesterday and watching him from last season. It's just seamlessly fit into that team and into the Premier League. He's been outstanding. I thought yesterday he's probably one of the best players on the pitch. So yeah, I do get what you're saying there. Mane has pretty much already been replaced before Mane left, but yeah, I think Haaland was definitely hit the ground running for me. So I still think City are just as strong. Probably need to strengthen still, but like I said, there's still plenty of time in the transfer window.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely showing that intention. They're going to strengthen, aren't they? I mean, they're going after Cucurella. If they get priced out of it, I can't see them just dropping it and just not getting another left back. They'll have alternative options, and I mean, there's no question that if they show interest in a player, they're going to want to go to Manchester City.
And they love spending money on a fullback, don't they? As well. So
they love spending £50 million on defenders, don't they?
Yeah.
Not Cucurella though. Not Cucurella.
It's got to be at least 70.
Fernandinho left obviously, but then they replaced. I mean, they've got a replacement in Calvin Phillips. Like, I feel like, so you think Jesus left, they got Haaland in, Fernandinho, they've got Calvin Phillips, and they're definitely showing the intention of getting a replacement left back for Zinchenko. And they've got Cancelo and Walker in there.
Do you think about Calvin Phillips going there though? It's a bit of a weird one because he's going to play second fiddle to Rodri, surely. Yeah. He's not going to play in the front in front of the sitting midfielder. It's a bit of an odd move, and he is very injury prone. But like you said, they have replaced them man for man, but we have to wait and see.
I think Man City might have a different system this season. I think Haaland is a very different striker to every single Pep striker that's been and gone, and most Man City strikers that have been and gone in recent years. So
did you notice that yesterday that they didn't seem to be able to find him? They weren't used to having that man running in behind at pace. They seem to miss a lot of opportunities to find him in behind. It might be a way of thing of City learning how to play with learning how to play with a striker almost. It might take them time, but City they're always notorious for not starting that fast, are they? They do always stutter a little bit at the start.
We'll see. We'll move on to you, Josh. Your top 4 prediction.
Yep.
Let's hear it. Last year you
said... Can we not?
You said... No, we'll do it. Okay. First place, Manchester United, I've got in big capital letters.
Okay.
And then Man City second, Chelsea third, which you got right.
Yeah.
You got Chelsea, and then you had Leicester fourth.
Yeah, it didn't go great.
It was a bit of a mess.
Didn't go great. I think I let my heart rule over my head in those predictions. I'm not going to do that this year. I'm going to be sensible.
Okay.
And I'm going to say Liverpool.
Okay. I know that must have taken a lot for you to say.
It has. It has. Okay? I fucking hate them. I hate them, but I think they're going to be first, and I'll give my reasons for afterwards. Second, City. Third, Spurs, and fourth, Chelsea. Ooh, I think. So. I mean, to be honest, I've kind of argued against Ash's point, but I agree with him in thinking Liverpool actually. Look at them right now. If we take the teams right now, I think Liverpool are stronger. Mainly because I think Man City's defence is 2 injuries away from being on its arse. Because they've only got 2 fullbacks in Walker and Stones. They've got Laporte, Ake, Stone, in Walker and Cancelo, sorry. They've got centre halves in Ake, Stones, Laporte and Diaz. And Laporte and Stones and Ake are notorious for being injured a lot. So they need to reinforce. So if I'm going right now, I think Liverpool actually probably have a stronger squad. And I could see them with the squads right now being just pipping them to the title.
But name Liverpool's defenders that are beyond.
Yeah, I was going to say, aren't Liverpool in the same boat? Aren't they 2 injuries
Van Dijk,
away?
Matip,
yeah,
Gomez.
If Van Dijk gets injured, I mean, we saw what happened.
Yeah, but I'm thinking mainly so from a fullback position. They've got 1 fullback on each side. That's it.
Liverpool have got incredible depth in their defence. They've got arguably 2 class players in every single.
Yeah, so they've got right back
Tsimikas, Virgil van Dijk, Canate.
They just signed that Ramsey from Aberdeen, who's meant to be a decent right back as well.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm mainly looking at it from the fullback position, but that is kind of naive because we know Man City will strengthen, but they need to. They definitely need to strengthen that fullback position. But if we're going right now, I think Liverpool just pit them. I do think Luis Diaz and Salah I think Diaz have a massive season. I think he's just the way he's fit in, and I think almost he might even match Mane with his ability. But it'll be close. It'll be Man City first and second, whatever order it may be around. Spurs in third. I think Spurs have had a good transfer window. I don't think it's as good as what people think. It's decent, but this is a manager who's won league with Victor Moses at right wing back. So I mean, with the squad he's got, Spurs could be dangerous. I think Spurs, they're definitely not going to break into that top 2, but I think they could be the best of the rest. And fourth, Chelsea. I mean, that's tight. I mean, I'm looking at the teams. I wrote down the teams that the 3rd to 9th could be. I mean, you've got teams like Spurs, Chelsea, Arsenal, United, obviously in there. But then other teams like West Ham, you can't really write them off to be contending up there because the last 2 seasons they've been They've been in and around it. And Moyes seems to have his way with that West Ham team at the moment. Newcastle, you don't know how they're going to be this season.
Yeah.
They could be pushing. I mean, they've signed pretty wisely. They've still got time to sign better. And looking at where they ended the season, if they have Eddie Howe from the start and that momentum from the start, who knows? And obviously, I mean, Leicester dropped off a lot last year, but they have a good squad. So that's 7 teams from in that could contend for that third and fourth position. So it's definitely a lottery. But I just think Thomas Tuchel is, I think, the reason. If he stays, I think he's such a good manager. I think
he's the difference for Chelsea.
Yeah, I think he's the difference between. I don't think Arteta. I think their squad's young. Once it gets towards them, I think Lynchy said he thinks they'll get pipped towards the end. I think it is because the squad is young, the manager's inexperienced. Look what happened last year. I mean, they were in pole position to get fourth position, and it was that lack of experience in the squad that I think just stopped them from getting there. I mean, I definitely think Arsenal are strengthening, but it's a process, and I think they'll need to gain that experience with that spine of young players over the next 4 years, and then they'll be in a more position to break into that top 4.
Fantastic, yeah, and you've named 7 teams off the bat, 8 if you include Brighton, obviously. So
of course,
there's that whole thing. So we'll talk about his lack of the omission of Man United separately. We'll do a whole thing on that after we've got Chris' predictions. But any of you boys disagree or agree with Leif's reasoning there?
I would say one thing, Leif, to you about Thomas Tuchel is a manager who at both PSG and Dortmund had a bit of a shelf life, has a bit of a short fuse going into, third season, can lose the plot a bit. And Chelsea, as we know, are also a club that love a bit of an implosion. There was that season under Mourinho where they finished, 13th or something like that. So I'm not saying that will happen necessarily. I just think, they are great managers that we see at top. They do
I think the line is fine at Chelsea. I think I agree with you. I think, like you said, with the combination of Tuchel and Chelsea's history of managers, although that may be different now.
That's true. That's a good point.
That may be very different, but the line is fine. It could go one way or the other, I think, with Chelsea. But I do think he is a fantastic manager. He is a fantastic manager.
Agree.
Sam Hayes has just sent a comment. It's a square for me. But Sam,
he's going like this.
Is he? Oh, for me, it's just a square. There you go.
He's doing that? No, it's just that.
I think he's agreeing with you.
Thanks, Sam.
Emperor Hayes. Hello there.
Big love, Sam.
Big love. Right. So, Chris, we'll come to you. What is your? You are technically the most successful top 4 predictor last year. You've got what was it? 3 out of 4 correct, 2 of which in the correct order. That was City, United, and Chelsea and Liverpool. Or maybe you didn't get. Oh, you got 2. Yeah, you got Chelsea and City right. So, what are your top 4 this year?
I'm going to stick with Manchester City first. I think they will strengthen before the end of the window. Plus, Guardiola's just a serial winner. I mean, you can say the same. Both him and Klopp, they're both serial winners. They both want the absolute perfection in that. But I just think Guardiola. I don't want to say like he wants it more, but it's sort of that sense that I can imagine him drilling it into like his players and that, and just the fact that they'll implode in Europe anyway. So I think they'll just concentrate on the league, and that obviously I think Liverpool will finish second. And again, I from like a neutral point of view, I quite like that it did go down to the final day of the season, and from like that neutral perspective, I do hope we get to see something similar again. Third place, I agree with the boys. I think Spurs, but mainly because of Conte. I think Conte is the main reason why Tottenham will probably finish in third place. I mean, their front three is unbelievable. Kulusevski, Kane, and Son, all class. I mean, I'll be honest, the signing of Richarlison was quite a baffling one because I didn't think they really need Richarlison. It's like, how is he going to fit in their system alongside Kane, Son, and Kulusevski? The way those 3 finished. And that, but I think Perisic is an interesting signing as well for them. All right, he probably won't have as many years in him, but he's worked under Antonio Conte and into Milan, and if he plays like left wing back, I think he'll provide like a bit more of an attacking threat. And maybe it might think for Antonio Conte to actually shift Ben Davies into the left centre back role that he plays so well for Wales in, And I know Conte is quite a big fan of Ben Davis as well. And fourth, I'm going to be bold, and I will say Arsenal. I mean,
huge.
The thing that Arsenal lacked last season was a striker that was going to score 15 plus goals. And I think now that they've got Jesus, I think they have got that missing piece, because last season they was heavily relying on Saka, Smith Rowe, Ødegaard to score their goals. I mean, Lacazette, he just wasn't scoring. Aubameyang had his off the field issues, which I'm sure a lot of the neutral fans will be looking forward to Thursday when Arsenal or nothing comes out on Amazon Prime.
Oh, can't wait.
Oh, that would be a good watch.
But the reason why I've picked Arsenal to Chelsea is because I think Chelsea's top scorer last season was Jorginho. And all right, Sterling will probably score them goals, and that, don't get me wrong, but I still think they lack that decent out-and-out number 9. Whether Tuchel can actually maybe get the best out of Werner this season, although there's been rumours of Werner leaving the club, whether it's going back to Leipzig, or I think I've heard they've actually offered him out to Real Madrid as well, which is an interesting one.
Jesus.
But I think Chelsea do lack that number 9. And let's not forget, Chelsea sort of stumbled over the finish line last season. I mean, all right, they had a lot of off-the-field issues with, obviously, Abramovich and the whole sanctions imposed against them. And I don't know, I don't think the Chelsea fans will get behind their new owners as much as what they got behind Abramovich. But again, you can't really rule them out, can you? I mean, they've still got a very good squad on paper. But like Leif said, they've been losing a lot of their transfer targets to Barcelona. I mean, Barcelona must just have a spy at Chelsea going, yeah, we'll take the senior from them. We'll take Koundé. I mean,
Barcelona's a bit of a joke, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
But like, when me and Barnes were talking about this the other week, they're sacrificing their long-term future for immediate success. If they don't get that immediate success,
but are they
in huge trouble?
Would you say they're better than Real Madrid?
No.
They're still not better than Real Madrid. They're not going to win the league, I don't think.
No.
Anyway,
none of their players. Well, maybe Lewandowski, but like Lewandowski's 34 years old and they've spent 40 odd million on him. I mean, but Barcelona are still making these stupid transfers. They haven't even learnt their lesson. They're going to be in huge trouble. I mean, the Barcelona fans try and argue, and it's disgusting that like Bordeaux are in massive financial trouble, and Barcelona still owe them money for Malcolm.
Yeah, give Frankie de Jong his money as well, please.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Free Frankie de Jong.
Free him up. Free Frankie.
Free Frankie. Come on.
God bless his soul.
Oh God, I've missed a Chris rant about oil and money and things. It's been a while.
How were the Tories?
Oh, okay. Very good.
Add that in there.
We're political this season. Season 2 of the Early Bath, we're getting political. Yeah, good. I like it. Yeah. So, Chris, that was your top 4. I think you boys largely agree with that, or agree with Chris's reasoning, I imagine.
The only thing I would question is the Gabriel Jesus being a 15 plus
savior.
Goal. Yeah, I don't think, I've quickly looked it up. He's never scored 15 plus goals.
Yeah, but has he had the opportunity at Manchester City to play as the out-and-out striker?
No, he's not.
For a whole season. I mean, he's had
Aguero and then he's been He's banking on doing it. He has always been out on the wing. He hasn't played every game. He's a good player. He's a good signing. I mean, I don't want it to be a good signing because I fucking hate Arsenal. Sorry for language. But I think it is. Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus are good signings, and they will definitely be up in and around that in the top 4, I think. Zinchenko, I think more so. I think Zinchenko's a real top player.
I think he's a very good signing.
Yeah, watching him for Ukraine in the qualification games against Scotland and Wales, he was the best player on the pitch. Like, he was brilliant.
He can play midfield as well, can't he?
He can play anywhere. You've got if you play Football Manager, I think it's other than striker, he can play everywhere. Utility man, John O'Shea.
He is the Ukrainian John O'Shea. We've all said it. I've been saying it for years. Been saying it for years. Okay. So there's all your top 4s. Let us know what you think about that. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is Manchester United. None of you thought Manchester United would be in the top 4, even with Eric Ten Hag or Eric 10 months, which I think Richard Keys called him. Which is
Richard Keys, man. They're just shut up.
Yeah, don't quote him on the pod.
Yeah, Richard Keys.
Sorry, season 2's gone terribly.
Would you smash it?
Also, Tang, you haven't given us your top 4.
Oh,
Yes.
You included Manchester United.
I'm for the purposes of content, I will go for Manchester City first, Liverpool second, Spurs third, Manchester United fourth.
Good.
Just for the
I don't
someone's
think-
gotta do it.
What? Why Manchester United fourth then, Tang? Come on.
Yeah, there we go.
Why?
I just feel. I don't know. I think United have got a lot to prove. It's obviously been very well documented. I think Lisandro Martinez is a decent signing for them. It's a signing that they've needed. Who else have they signed? I don't know.
Malacia.
Who is he?
Malacia,
Who is he? Who is he?
Who is he?
He's a superb left back from. Is it Feyenoord? I don't even know.
It's Feyenoord, yeah.
I assume that
30
they've
mil.
absolutely raided the Dutch league. So I just feel, it's taken 17 months to try and get De Jong, and maybe he's coming. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I think United might. I think they might surprise, or they might do as every single time under Van Gaal, Mourinho. Who else have you had in recent years? Solskjaer, Ranier.
Moyes.
It will all be good until they actually play on the pitch and it all goes to pot.
Very harsh on Louis van Gaal, that. But
Yeah, he did play very horny football. You do
Mike
forget.
Schmalling.
Mike Schmalling. I don't know. I think United might surprise. I don't know. I think when you've got the players that they have, I mean, Ronaldo's that's a whole debate. We could do a whole podcast on Cristiano Ronaldo, but who knows? Well, Josh, will he be there by the end of this? By the end of the window?
I think he will. I don't necessarily want. I obviously love Cristiano Ronaldo, but Cristiano Ronaldo is for Cristiano Ronaldo. He always has been. Right? Everything is for his legacy, for his career. That's never changed. We'd be naive to sit here as United fans thinking when he came back, it was because he'd come in to save us. He's coming because it's another part to his legacy, another part to the story. He wanted to come back and save United. I think he will be, mainly because if he wants to play Champions League football, all them teams in the Champions League, I can't see him going to any of them. And no, it doesn't make financial or logistical sense for any of the teams to sign him. But at the same time, do we want a player who really doesn't want to be there? Because Ronaldo's made it very clear he doesn't pull no punches. He doesn't want to be there. And what type of Ronaldo do you get? And Ronaldo doesn't want to be there. Like he was against it. He'll just. I could see Ronaldo just like he did at Juventus. He took his like a total Allegri. He's gone. So, but then I just can't see where he's going to go. It's a difficult one. But I love him still. I'll always love him. Viva Ronaldo.
I think Mendes gets in his ear a lot as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously Mendes being the agent, he thinks about the money, doesn't he? And he thinks, you can make a lot more money if you go over here and play. I mean, he nearly went to Man City last season, didn't he?
Yeah. I think he would have done. He would have done.
He would have done as well.
Yeah.
If it was for Sir Alex sort of like getting in the way and just saying, "What are you doing? Come back to United," I think he would have went to Manchester City.
I do hope he stays. And I hope it kind of just peters out and he does just think, okay, I'm at United for another year. Let's see out the contract and then he can move on. But I've heard a lot of really weird rumours of what he suggested, where he wanted to be loaned out for this year.
New contract loaned out or something.
New contract. So another year on his contract and loaned out. I mean, that's... Yeah. I mean, he has got... Ronaldo, like I said, is Ronaldo comes first. And that makes no sense for Man United as a club. We can't pander to him. Like, we're at a transitional stage. We cannot be pandering to 37-year-old strikers. We need to make a stance here. If he stays and he plays, and he needs to be in a position where he wants to play. We don't want to be having a Cristiano Ronaldo who doesn't want to play. There's no point. Or we get rid of him. We find a way to get rid of him.
It's a way. His legacy is very much in danger of being sort of tarnished because he's Cristiano Ronaldo. He's the best player in the world. Some people, he's the whole Messi Ronaldo debate, and he's at a point in his career where no club wants him, and the club he is at, they're probably better off without. Like they played better without him. The whole last season, whenever Ronaldo wasn't in the squad, United looked at some point. So it's a very weird position for him.
But he was our top goal scorer. So
yeah,
I was going to say, without Ronaldo in the team, we have no goals.
Exactly.
So if Ronaldo goes, I mean, I get what you're saying in terms of build-up play sometimes, and it might have looked a bit more fluid. I think the press might have been a bit easier without Ronaldo. We didn't have to play for Ronaldo, but at the same time, he scored, I think, 19 goals in Premier League last year. We take them goals out. You cannot rely on Anthony Martial. We cannot rely on Marcus Rashford. They're not good enough.
I think Martial, Rashford, and Sancho might have a big season this year. I think they've got something to prove.
But they're not going to score any. I'd bet you any money. Rashford, I mean, Sancho, I think will, but I don't think Sancho's another one who will score, who's going to be a top goal scorer. He's more of an assister. We need, if Ronaldo goes, we need a striker anyway. So if Ronaldo goes, we need two, at least.
Yeah.
Because Martial and Rashford have proven they're better on the left, in my opinion, but they're proven they cannot be like relied on in that number 9 role.
We'll see, and that's why I'm putting Manchester United 4th, because they will prove that they are.
I hope they do, Tank. I hope they do.
So yeah, that's our top 4, and that's our sort of psychoanalysis into Manchester United. Someone called P Boy has just said hello.
What you said, P Boy?
Hello, P Boy.
Hello,
P Money.
P Dizzle. Hello, P Boy. Who's your top 5? I'm trying to look at the people in that photo. Which one of those is P Boy? Is my question. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows?
Big up P Boy.
Big up P Boy. Let's move away from. We'll move away from the top 4. We'll get that out. We'll do a grid or something and tweet it out or something like that, and see.
Can we not tweet it out? Can we not tweet it out? I bet Liverpool top. Let's not tweet it out.
It's either this year's or the last year's life.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, let's talk about other football things. Let's talk about the fact that football came home yesterday.
Yes.
Great stuff. Absolutely.
Big up the Galdem.
Yeah, big up the Galdem. I don't know if you boys watched it. I think Ash maybe was watching some weird Commonwealth sport. But yeah, I thought it was an incredible game. Really nail biting. And I don't want to be that guy, but the last time I watched women's football was maybe like 10 years ago or something. The standard has gone. I don't want to like state out the obvious, but the standard has gone up so incredibly.
It really has, yeah.
And it was a really good. And I got a bit emotional, like with the celebrations. I couldn't believe it. Like it's the whole thing about women's football and what it stands for, what it stood for in the past, and I think it's inspiring, isn't it? It's inspiring a whole generation of people, not just girls but boys as well, but everyone that dreams come true, etc., etc. I think it's great.
Yep, it certainly is.
Yeah, I mean, it was superb, and like what Ian Wright and Alex Scott and the Arsenal women's manager, I apologise, I forget his name, but what they said afterwards was brilliant as well. How this England women's team, they didn't win this because of like the FA and that, they won it in spite of the FA. The fact that when some of them even started playing, football, they were still working part-time jobs. I think they said Millie Bright was like a horse groomer, like when she started out playing football.
The best centre half in the world. I'd rather have her than Harry Maguire. Put it out there. Millie Bright, sign a contract.
I tell you what, Leah Williamson, it was like watching Maldini out there at the time. The way she read the game and that.
They were superb, that back too.
Yeah.
That first goal, by the way, the finish was unbelievable.
Incredible. Yeah, the pass from Walsh, that was fun. I mean, I must admit, I do feel like a bit of a glory hunter because the final was kind of one of the only games I watched. I did watch a bit of the semi-final as well. And again, like, what a goal from that Alessia Russo. I mean, even that, you could imagine like the kids were going out in their back gardens. Maybe not that same day because obviously it was late in the evening, but the following day trying to do like the back heel goal and that. Like it was superb. Like all of those women are inspiration to like you said, not just young girls or boys, like to everyone. They're inspiration like to like the whole country and that and like fair play to Serena Wiegman as well, the manager. I mean that she's won 2 consecutive Euros finals in a row, and I think she's also got to a World Cup final in that time as well. I mean that is an incredible achievement for like as a manager in that. Like so, fair play to her as well. And I think she lost like her sister like before the tournament started because people was wondering why she kept kissing her bracelet, and that was why, because it was her sister's bracelet. So again, that was quite a nice touch in that as well. So fair play to her.
Yeah, and a full house at Wembley as well. It's incredible. It's incredible, and I don't know. I saw a few stupid people on Twitter just others. Oh, it's not as good as the men's game. Shut up! It's not about that.
Well, I think no, it's not.
Oh, here we go.
I followed pretty much the whole tournament.
Yeah.
There's no point in comparing it to men's games.
No.
one compares any other sport like in terms of. Well, they do sometimes, but it's different. Obviously, it's not as physical. It's not as fast, but it is what it is. You don't. It's women's football. Is women's football. It's still it's within its own bracket. So you've got to stop comparing. It's never going to be. They're never going to be as physical as men. That's just how it works. Tennis. Serena Williams is never going to beat Roger Federer, but in its own right, it's brilliant to watch in its own right. So we've got to stop comparing. I think it would do women's game a lot of good for people to stop comparing and just take it for what it is. And it's a brilliant spectacle in itself. I followed the whole tournament. I was really impressed with the England team. I thought they were the best football team in the tournament. Very good. I think that Walsh had sent them. I think it's Kira Walsh. I'm sorry for my name.
Yeah.
Her passing range was unbelievable. She's playing like a Spain 2008 centre midfielder. She was superb. Ellen White wasn't great for me. I think she was coming. Maybe that might be her last tournament, but there were some brilliant players in there too. I like the way she stuck very rigid to her first 11. It didn't change the whole tournament. I don't think that every game was the same 11, and I think it's that consistency and plan. They always had a plan. That whoever if it weren't working out, Russo came on. If it wasn't working out in the midfield, Toon came on to give them a bit more dynamisty in the midfield. It was really good to watch. I thought I was really impressed with the Norway game. They absolutely ripped apart. That could have been 15-0. And people before the game were predicting that it was going to be a draw. It was going to be a close game. So they blew them away to beat Spain. I think Spain were probably the best footballing team they played. I think they were better, from my opinion, watching than Germany. To beat Sweden a top international side in women's football, and they demolished them.
Absolutely.
And I thought they deserved it yesterday. I don't think it was a fluke. I don't think they scraped it. They deserved the win, and good on them.
Fantastic, good on them, and well done. And hopefully, this sort of, I hope the momentum, the legacy. Like how London 2012 was a bit crap in terms of legacy and continuation. I hope yesterday is. The momentum is pushed on, and we keep.
Hopefully the WSL kind of emerges a bit more from it, and all the women's leagues.
Be interesting to see if average attendances in the WSL following
the
great success of the team start increasing, and clubs start giving potentially the women's teams more opportunity in large stadiums and that kind of thing. But I put on the women's Euro. I watched a few games. I didn't watch the final, as you say, Tang. I was watching fictional Commonwealth sports. But there is a lot of talk about legacy and sort of the wider sort of broader issues. And I completely understand that. But I do think we should be really celebrating and focusing on the players and the managers for what an achievement they have done. Like, to win a Euros, it's such an amazing achievement, and those players deserve, amazing credit. So I'd rather on Twitter see about all women's football's not as good as men's football or what. I'd rather just see big up these players for doing what they did, and it will grow naturally. So I don't think we need to worry too much about things like legacy. Just enjoy it for what it is.
Exactly. Fantastic. The last topic I want to talk about was the biggest news in Oxford United sphere last week. Cameron Brannigan signing a new Oxford United. I spelled Cameron wrong. I think.
No, you didn't. I just didn't know who that is.
Who was that?
Get out, Leif.
Ignorant pig, Leif. You're an ignorant pig.
I like what you did there.
Cameron, for those who didn't know, Brannigan, Thursday morning, it was an unnamed championship club, but it was Blackpool. Met his release clause. And then, the whole day, meltdown, 2 days before the season, I'll lose now one of our best players, probably our best player. And then 11 o'clock, Oxford United tweeted at 11 o'clock in the evening, Oxford United tweet out the Wolf of Wall Street, I'm not leaving scene, and it's Cameron Brannigan's face CGI'd onto it, and he's signed a new 3-year deal.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Incredible. I was literally in my room, and I was just like, what is happening? It was crazy. It's a huge statement of intent from the board and from Oxford to keep that player. And I think it was also partly down to him. He wanted to stay, which was, you don't really get that. I think he's 26. He's in his prime. Could play. He wants to play in the Championship, but he wants to play there with Oxford United. I don't know, Lynchy. What do you think about? I know we spoke about this earlier, but what are your thoughts on that? On him deciding to stay?
I think it's good for Oxford as a club because, like you say, prime age of his career. I mean, he's been one of their best players, Oxford, now for a number of years. And for him to reject a move to the Championship and to stay at Oxford, he must first have faith in the manager, and second of all, their chances of getting promotion this season. I mean, I don't know much about Oxford as compared to you guys, but I mean, I know he's always been talked about the last couple of years as one of your most key players. I definitely think it's a good sign of intention for the club. I feel like this season seems like, for me, looking upon them from the outside, it seems like make or break for promotion. I feel like they've been pushing for the last couple of years, and this is really going to be the season whether they can get promoted or not. Whether some of them players like Brannigan might then consider moving on.
Yeah, we'll have a look. Chris, Ash, Leif, what do you boys think on the new signing in Oxford United at the minute?
I mean, like Lynch, you said, like keeping Cameron Brannigan is an absolute huge sign of intent. I mean, I must admit, I fell asleep like quite early Thursday, so I sort of went to bed as I'm thinking, he's sort of going to go to Blackpool and that. But then obviously it was a nice surprise to wake up to on Friday when I woke up and obviously saw that I'm not leaving Wolf of Wall Street. I was like, wow, blimey. To be fair, I kind of thought if I was still dreaming. No.
Like I'm dreaming.
Yeah, I feel like I'm dreaming. Yeah, but yeah, like it's an interesting one though, because if one of the bigger Championship clubs would have come in for him, would he have stayed? I don't think he would have. But I mean, it's going to sound a bit disrespectful to Blackpool, but let's be honest, that they're a Championship club where they're going to be mid-table at best. Like they're probably going to be around. I mean, I know they did win at the weekend because they had to let the Oxford fans know about it, and they had to let Cameron Brannigan know about it as well, which I thought was quite embarrassing. It's like, just enjoy your win and that. But
Rent Free comes to mind.
Yeah, but if like say like someone like West Brom with the Messiah that is Steve Bruce,
it's taken one episode for him to back.
Yeah, I mean we worry about him. We got to bring him up. We do worry about him on this podcast and that. But say if someone like West Brom or like even like Burnley, I mean, we saw Burnley took McNally from us earlier. I'm surprised that McNally didn't say to Company, you should get that Brannigan. He's a good player, and that I know they did sign Josh Cullen, to be fair, from Mandex, he's a pretty decent player in his own right. But I think if one of those clubs sort of like come in for him, I think Brannigan probably would have gone, and that. But like the fact that he's chosen to stay at Oxford and sign like a 3-year deal, it's incredible, to be honest. Because like other than Conor Hourihane, as much as it pains me to say, because obviously he got the winner against us on Saturday, like I'd probably say Cameron Brannigan's probably the second best midfielder in League One. And that might be a bit of a biased opinion, but the way he's been playing in League One the past couple of seasons, that he has been one of the best players in the division. So to keep him is a coup. It probably going to be our best business we do all summer.
Yeah, very good. Ash, any final opinions on the Brannigan saga?
Yeah, definitely agree with Chris that it'll be our the best business we do this summer. There's no way that I could have foreseen us getting in a player of Brannigan's experience and quality at this, I say late stage of transfer window. I know it's got a while to go, but because of the early starts of the season, it's slightly different. But there's no way we'd have replaced that quality in the team. So yeah, obviously really happy Brannigan stayed. I do think it's interesting though. I don't know how much the sort of wage difference is between sort of top half of League One, which I think Oxford we class out, and bottom. I don't think it's that much. And then to move all your family and stuff, he's been quite settled in Oxford because he's been there for a few years now. To change all that up to go to Blackpool, probably when he looked at it, not worth it. But I'm with Chris that if he got maybe a more attractive offer from a team further up the Championship, maybe one looking on the playoffs, I 100% think he would have gone. But it really happy he signed that contract, and a 3-year deal in League One is quite a long time actually, especially for a club like Oxford who don't own. We don't own our own stadium, and we also signed Stuart Finley on a 4-year deal, which is huge for League One. So it's a real sign of intent from Oxford. It's a really interesting season actually. Now they're sort of putting more money behind these contracts and investing in these players and signing players from that are more established, perhaps than they have previous years. Will they be able to kick on and improve upon their last campaigns? it'd be interesting to see.
I think we should, as you say, big contracts with big players, people like Josh Murphy who have signed.
That's a huge deal.
It's a huge sign. So Ox is going to be a big season for the Ox. We'll see. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today on our first episode. But we've got a whole season of things to talk about. I know we did a Newcastle predictor last season of how they're going to line up on the first day. We should revisit that.
Yeah.
See how close or not close we were on that. But does anyone have any final thoughts before we head off and I go watch Love Island?
Good. I think I'm looking forward to a good season. I'm looking forward to a competitive season. I'll be we're going to try and follow Oxford a bit more as well.
Oh,
I think that could I think they could do well this year. I think they could definitely reach playoffs. And if they do go up, Cameron Brannigan goes down as a messiah. I'll tell you now.
He really does build that statue.
Yeah.
I was gonna keep with like the Oxford United news and say again, like today, obviously James Henry signed a 2-year deal. I think that's huge in itself. Like just keep some of that experience, and I think he is.
He should have squared it against Wickham, though, should he?
Oh, stop it! Okay,
come on. We're past that, and they're back in League One now.
Good.
Gareth Ainsworth.
Oh well.
Also looking forward to Crystal Palace win on Friday.
Good. Very good.
Come on. Crystal Palace are awful. Ed said it himself. Ed Priest 2021 Palace.
Ed will be back soon as well. We can talk about Liverpool stuff with him. But it's been absolutely lovely talking to you boys. Back again for the new season.
Been good to be back.
Bigger than ever. We'll go hard this year. We'll try and do as much as we can to grow this community and do what we can. We're on 76 subscribers, so we met our 75 goal. The next goal is now 100. So share this with your friends and family. If you want a night out, just get your phone out and don't ask that girl's number. Ask her to subscribe to the pod. I have a girlfriend, so I can't talk to girls anymore. That's all
our subscribers gone.
Heartthrob Tiang.
Free me. Leif and Dan, it's very good to see you as well. Back after a long hiatus.
I was going to say that. I couldn't think of it.
It's very good to see you boys back, and everyone for tuning in. Thank you very much. We'll be back. Give us some comments on your top 4 predictions and why Lace was terribly wrong, and why Man United might win the league this year. And give us your top 4s and any comments on what we should discuss this year, because there's so much to discuss. There's United badge. Anything else from any of you boys?
No, been good to be back.
Right, up the Ekin-Su and Davide, and I will see you boys very soon. Goodbye. See everyone. Bye. Goodbye. Wave and goodbye. Goodbye. End the broadcast.